Dear student, today we are going to release second video for 10th class. Today we shall start first lesson of the physics, which includes two topics, reflection and refraction of light. So let us start. First of all, we shall see what is reflection. Actually, reflection means bounce back. That is, when light strikes a surface, it bounces back in the same medium. This phenomena is known as reflection of light. In this chapter, we shall study reflection of light by spherical mirrors. But before we discuss reflection by spherical mirrors, let us clear some concept regarding reflection of light. We shall discuss how reflection of the light takes place at the surface of a plane mirror. A plane mirror is a glass plate whose one surface is silver polished. When a ray of light strikes this mirror, it bounces back, it is reflected. The reflection of light from a plane mirror takes place according to three laws. These are the basic laws of the reflection. The first law states the incident ray, the reflected ray and the normal at the point of incidence all lie on the same plane. Now here question arises that what is incident ray, what is reflected ray, what is normal. So let us clear it. The ray of light which strikes the mirror is called incident ray. The ray of light which is sent back after reflection is called reflected ray. The point at which the incident ray strikes the mirror is called point of incidence. So here O is the point of incidence. AO is the incident ray, OB is the reflected ray, O is the point of incident. A perpendicular drawn at the point of incidence to the reflecting surface is called a normal. Obviously, NO represents a normal. So, incident ray, reflected ray and the normal all lie on the same plane. If it is the mirror and these are the incident ray, reflected ray and the normal, then they are all on the same plane. The angle which incident ray makes with the normal is called angle of incidence and it is represented by angle I. The angle which reflected ray makes with the normal is called angle of reflection and it is represented by R. If you measure angle of incidence and angle of reflection, then you will find that the angle of incidence is always equal to angle of reflection. This is the second law. The third law states that incident ray and reflected ray lie on the opposite sides of the normal. Incident ray and reflected ray lie on the opposite sides of the normal. These are the three basic laws of reflection. Remember, reflection of light by plane mirror is not in your scope, but the concept of this reflection of light by plane mirror is very important for the understanding of the reflection of light by spherical surfaces. बच्चों, आपके रिफ्लेक्शन ऑफ लाइट प्लेन मिरर के थ्रू या बाय आपके सिलेबस में नहीं है, 10th क्लास में नहीं है, लेकिन ये कंसेप्ट बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, क्योंकि अगर आप इसको समझ पाएंगे तभी आप रिफ्लेक्शन समझ पाएंगे स्फेरिकल सरफेसेस के थ्रू, जिसको आपको पढ़ना है. Now consider one thing. Suppose a ray of light incidents normally. So AO is the incident ray. Obviously, the normal and the incident ray coincide. In that situation, the angle of incidence will be equal to 0 degree. Now, according to the laws of reflection, angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. Obviously, the angle of reflection in this case will be equal to 0 degree. It means if a ray of light incidents normally, it will be reflected back along the same path. It will retrace its path. ये अपने रास्ते को रिट्रेस करेगी. ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट बात है, याद रखनी है आपको. कोई भी लाइट रे अगर किसी भी सरफेस से नॉर्मली इंसिडेंट होगी तो ये उसी डायरेक्शन में वापस लौट जाएगी जिस डायरेक्शन से आई थी. ओके? Now we are going to discuss what are spherical mirrors. Consider it is a hollow sphere and MN is the part of hollow sphere. Obviously, it has two surfaces. One surface is silver polished. In this case, the inner curved surface is silver polished, and in this case, the outer bulging surface is silver polished. MN represent a spherical mirror. So what is a spherical mirror? A spherical mirror is a part of hollow sphere whose one surface is silver polished, so that reflection of the light takes place by the other surface, second surface. If the light strikes the surface, it is reflected. Similarly, you will study that in this case the light will reflect it along this path. So what is spherical mirror? A spherical mirror is a part of hollow sphere whose one surface is silver polished, so that the light reflection of the light takes place through the other surface. Obviously, you can see there are two types of the spherical mirrors, namely convex mirror and concave mirror. A spherical mirror whose inner curve is silver polished, so that the reflection of the light takes place at the outer bulging surface, which is called the convex surface, is called a convex mirror. It is also known as diverging mirror. What is a convex mirror? A spherical mirror whose inner curved surface is silver polished and the reflection of the light will take place on the outer bulging surface. Then it is called a convex mirror. It is also known as diverging mirror. On the other hand, a spherical mirror whose outer bulging surface is silver polished and the reflection of the light takes place at the inner curved surface is called a concave mirror. एक ऐसा स्फेरिकल मिरर जिसकी अंदर की मुड़ी हुई सरफेस तो सिल्वर पॉलिश कर दी गई हो और जो रिफ्लेक्टिंग सरफेस हो वो बाहर की तरफ उभरी हुई हो, उसको कन्वेक्स मिरर कहते हैं. And convex mirror is also known as diverging mirror. Why? This is because when a ray of light or the rays of the light strike a convex mirror, they diverge after reflection. Therefore, the convex mirror is also known as diverging mirror. A concave mirror is also known as converging mirror. Why? This is because the parallel rays of the light falling on the mirror are converged at a point. जो लाइट रे जो पैरेलल होती हैं वो रिफ्लेक्शन के बाद एक ही पॉइंट पर क्या होती है, मिल जाती है रिफ्लेक्शन के बाद. इसलिए इस मिरर को क्या कहते हैं, कन्वर्जिंग मिरर भी कहते हैं. So now then you are able to differentiate two types of the spherical mirrors. Spherical mirrors are of two types, converging mirror and diverging mirror. Converging mirror, that is concave mirror, and diverging mirror, convex mirror. What is a concave mirror? A spherical mirror whose outer bulging surface is silver polished, so that the reflecting surface is inwardly curved, is called a concave mirror. Concave mirror is also known as converging mirror because it converges the rays of the light falling on it. On the other hand, a convex mirror is that whose inner curved surface is polished and the reflecting surface is bulging out. बाहर की तरफ उभरी हुई हो, उसकी reflecting surface उसको क्या कहते हैं, convex mirror कहते हैं. It is also known as diverging mirror because the rays of the light which fall in it diverge after reflection. क्योंकि लाइट रे जब इस पर गिरती है तो रिफ्लेक्ट होने के बाद एक दूसरे से दूर हो जाती है, इसलिए इसको डाइवर्जिंग मिरर भी कहते हैं. Now there are certain terms related to spherical mirrors. Let us clear them. The first concept or the term that we discuss is center of curvature. We have defined spherical mirror as a part of hollow sphere whose one surface is silver polished. Obviously, a spherical mirror is a part of hollow sphere. The center of the hollow sphere of which the mirror is a part is called its center of curvature and it is denoted by C. एक स्फेरिकल मिरर एक हॉलो स्फीयर का भाग होता है। ऑब्वियसली उस हॉलो स्फीयर का एक सेंटर होगा। उस हॉलो स्फीयर के सेंटर को, जिसका कि ये मिरर एक पार्ट है, भाग है, उसको इस मिरर का क्या कहते हैं? सेंटर ऑफ कर्वेचर कहते हैं। एंड इट इज डिनोटेड बाय, और इसको किससे डिनोट किया जाता है? सी से। सो हियर सी इज द सेंटर ऑफ कर्वेचर। Radius of curvature. The radius of the sphere of which the mirror is a part is called its radius of curvature, and it is represented by R. So here PC is equal to radius of curvature. What is the radius of curvature? जो स्फेरिकल मिरर है उसका जो रेडियस होता है, जिसका कि ये मिरर एक भाग है, उस रेडियस को उसका स्फेयर क्या कहते हैं? रेडियस ऑफ कर्वेचर कहते हैं। एंड इट इज डिनोटेड बाय आर। इसको किससे डिनोट करते हैं? आर। सो पीसी इज इक्वल टू रेडियस ऑफ कर्वेचर। द थर्ड टर्म इज पोल। Now, be attentive please. Any line which is coming from the center of the sphere is normal at this point. So you can see that CP is normal at this point, P point. Now if a ray of light strikes the mirror at P, then the angle between incident ray and CP, which is a normal, is equal to angle of incidence. Now according to the laws of reflection, angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. Obviously, this ray of light will reflect it in such a way that the angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. On the basis of this, we can define pole as the point on the spherical mirror from where, when a ray of light is reflected such that the angle of incidence between incident ray and the principal axis is equal to the angle of reflection, that is the angle between the principal axis and reflected ray. क्या है पोल? पोल किसी स्फेरिकल मिरर का वो पॉइंट होता है जिस पॉइंट पर अगर कोई लाइट रे इंसिडेंट होगी तो वो इस प्रकार से रिफ्लेक्ट होगी कि एंगल ऑफ इंसिडेंस विल बी इक्वल टू एंगल ऑफ रिफ्लेक्शन। एंगल ऑफ इंसिडेंस एंगल ऑफ रिफ्लेक्शन के बराबर होगा। इस केस के अंदर ये जो लाइन है ये रिप्रेजेंट करेगी किसको? नॉर्मल को। Principal focus. Let us define principal focus. a straight line that joins pole and center of curvature and extended on either side is called principal axis. वो स्ट्रेट लाइन जो पोल और सेंटर ऑफ कर्वेचर को ज्वाइन करती हुई आगे और पीछे की तरफ बढ़ा दी जाती है उसको प्रिंसिपल एक्सिस कहा जाता है. नाउ कंसीडर two rays of light incident on the spherical mirror, that is the concave mirror, such that they are parallel to the principal axis. A line drawn from the center of curvature will be normal. So the angle between incident ray and the normal is called angle of incidence. According to the laws of reflection, this ray of light will reflect such that the angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. Let us draw a normal at this point also. This is incident ray, this is normal, this represents angle of incidence. This ray of light will reflect such that the angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. So what we see here, the rays of the light parallel to the principal axis. These are the rays of light, this is principal axis. They are parallel to the principal axis. The rays of the light parallel to the principal axis, after reflection from the mirror, converge, meet at a point F on the principal axis. This point F is called principal focus. So what is principal focus? Principal focus is that point on the principal axis where the rays of the light parallel to the principal axis after reflection converge. In this case, they actually converge. Therefore, the principal focus of the concave mirror is a real point. Now, let us deal the case of the diverging mirror. Consider these two rays of the light which are parallel to the principal axis. A line from the center of curvature is normal at this point. The angle between incident ray and the normal angle of incidence. The angle between incident ray and the normal angle of incidence. After striking the mirror, these rays of the light will be reflected and they will reflect such that the angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. So this is incident ray, this is reflected ray. This is incident ray, this is reflected ray. Now what do you see here? These reflected ray appear to be coming from a point F on the principal axis. This is the principal focus of the convex mirror. Now let us combine. The principal focus is a point on the principal axis where the rays of the light parallel to the principal axis after reflection actually converge or appear to diverge from. Principal focus वो point होता है principal axis पर जहां पर parallel rays reflection के बाद या तो वास्तव में मिलती हो या उस point से दूर हटती हुई दिखाई देती है. Since in case of converging mirror, they actually converge, they actually meet at this point. Therefore, the principal focus of a concave mirror is a real point, whereas the principal focus of a diverging mirror is a virtual point. Finally, we have a term, focal length. The distance between pole and principal focus is called focal length of the mirror. Distance between pole and principal focus is called focal length. By sign convention, the focal length of the concave mirror is negative and the focal length of the convex lens is positive. That we shall consider tomorrow. I shall clear this concept